What are Vtubers by the BBC? Oh boy, what could we possibly find here? You've heard of Vtubers before? I think I've heard of Vtubers before. I think I know what those are.
Hype's building here for tonight's headliners.
So excited. Oh my god. I've never been before, so this is my first time.
How excited are you for this event?
Man, I love fauna! That's a good MILF acronym.
I'm excited.
I'm quite excited, but I didn't expect it to be this packed.
But tonight's show's a little different from concerts you might have been to before. These guys are here to see their favourite VTubers, virtual content creators and streamers.
It's really nice to meet other people who like VTubers because it can be a bit weird to bring it up with people who don't know what they're about.
It just seems to get bigger and bigger. I've never seen the queues like this.
It's very much like a concert and gig like all kind of others. It's just got its own, VTuber spin on it, so.
Shondo flag. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can recognize anyone smaller in, like, attire.
This is the opening night for VEXPO in Birmingham. It stands for VTuber Expo, and Phoebe Chan is getting it all started on the main stage.
I am a 2.5D idol, singer-songwriter, and voice actor who writes songs and performs them on both the real life and the virtual stage.
Oh!
I love it so much being able to.
That's a pretty rad setup. Yeah, it is.
Basically. And now something like this.
Most VTubers are
what
real
an odd
people
choice.
Controlling animated characters from home through motion capture tech. A bit like digital puppets. They then stream live on platforms like Twitch and YouTube, usually anonymously. That means they can appear anywhere in the world,
I'm tilting.
including one-to-one in these meet and greet booths being set up next door.
You can't just show, like, a garbage bag booth and be like, including these one-on-one meet and greets. It just makes it look like a jerk-off booth, man. Come on, what are you doing? Why are you like this?
Depending on who you're explaining it to, you get some interesting looks. I'll be like, oh yeah, so I stream video games. And they're like, oh, that's cool. How do you feel about being on camera all the time? And it's like, well, I'm not on camera. It's like, wait, you don't use a camera? I was like, well, no. Like, anime, and you can see the look in their eyes, and you're like, yeah, anime. I pilot like a
1,500 to go to the jerk-off booth with your Ochi.
That mirrors my movements, and then depending on like the age group that I'm talking to, you can just see the confusion setting in. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like this amazing.
That's like when I would tell people like, oh yeah, I stream video games. And they're like, oh, so you do porn? And I'm like, no, I stream video games, but like with a model instead of like a real camera. And they're like, oh, so like porn? I was like, just because I'm a woman and I stream doesn't mean I do porn. What the fuck?
Marriage of like technology and art, which I think is awesome. It's really nice to be able to actually have that character because, when I turn off this camera and go outside, I have complete privacy.
VTubers have been huge in parts of Asia for a while now. Hololive concerts in Japan have drawn in tens of thousands of fans. Now they're becoming much more popular in the West too, and they're
male VTuber spotted.
IRL events with them.
I really
spotted.
Like a lot of people, 2020 when lockdown happened. So, I had a lot of time at home, so just on YouTube a lot.
I discovered them on TikTok first, and I was like, wow, these are quite interesting people. So I just thought I decided to start watching them, and it's been like this since like 2022 now.
Events just for VTubers are still pretty new.
I have never seen like tiny cardboard cutouts like that. That's kind of cute. Usually you see like the giant cardboard cutouts that people can buy like after a con is over. I haven't seen the tiny ones. That's kind of cute.
But VEXPO has seen big growth since it started last year.
A lot of my friends would look abroad to America. For example, there was a big convention.
I see a chart behind him.
Or they would look to Japan and see all of these big 3D lives.
Tiny Dockies are also cute. I like the Tiny Docky keychains. I have a couple of the like tiny booba mousepad shaped keychains.
They wanted it to come to the UK. I also wanted it to come to the UK too. And one day I just thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. This weekend we are expecting our ticket sales.
I don't know who that is.
Is 2,200 and foot traffic across the weekend is going to be 6,600. This is such a large increase compared to last year.
Hello, hello.
and they're getting more popular online too. We spoke to live streaming platform Twitch, which told us people here
I feel like they keep showcasing the same ones over and over again.
Watching VTuber streams all total compared to a year ago.
Like, if it's like this now, chances are we could take this into the future and we'll get bigger and bigger.
Why are they wearing masks, by the way?
So as even more new fans in the West jump on board, this event could be getting even busier and louder.
I love the glow
year.
sticks, man. Limu is British. That makes sense. That makes sense. Probably only a few got promotion permissions. No, if she's a British VTuber, it makes sense that they're using her to highlight like a British expo for VTubers. But Des Moines Public Schools hold news conference after superintendent arrested by ICE. The superintendent of Iowa's largest school district has been arrested by federal immigration authorities. Let's get the BGM back. We need the war crime music. Des Moines Public Schools confirmed Friday afternoon that Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts was detained by ICE. At that time, DMPS said that it had not confirmed any information as to why Roberts is being detained. Shortly before 3 p.m. Friday, the Department of Homeland Security confirmed that ICE agents had taken Roberts into custody during a targeted enforcement operation. According to DHS, ICE officers approached Roberts in his vehicle, and Roberts sped away, later abandoning his vehicle near a wooded area. So this is like number one thing to do when you're approached by any sort of law enforcement officer. Like, number one is like, don't reach for your gun. Number two is like, don't speed away in your vehicle, right? Like, it's just common sense. But also, how the fuck did an illegal immigrant get appointed to superintendent at our school district? Like, I know the Marxists have controlled the schools for ages, but that seems a little ludicrous to me. This led to an extensive search of the area in and around Ewing Trace Mobile Home Park on Des Moines' south side. Federal agents and law enforcement were in the area of the mobile home park for several hours. DHS requested mutual aid support from the Iowa State Patrol, which helped assist in locating Roberts. DHS says Roberts was in possession of a loaded handgun, $3,000 in cash, and a fixed-blade hunting knife. If this were a normal American, the handgun and the hunting knife wouldn't be that weird, but who the fuck carries around $3,000 in cash? Like, what? The suspect was arrested in possession of a loaded weapon in a vehicle provided by Des Moines Public Schools after fleeing federal law enforcement, said ICE ERO St. Paul Field Office Director Sam Olson. This should be a wake-up call for our communities to the great work that our officers are doing every day to remove public safety threats. How this illegal alien was hired without work authorization, a final order of removal, and a prior weapons charge is beyond comprehension and should alarm the parents of that school district. Yeah, it is. It is beyond comprehension. I was like, you would think that, like, the Marxists would want to keep these people as, like, the low-level employees, not elevate them to, like, superintendent. That's crazy. It is illegal for someone without legal immigration status to possess a firearm and ammunition, DHS says. According to DHS, Roberts entered the U.S. in 1999 on a student visa and received a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May 2024. Why did it take 25 years to give a final order of removal? That's insane. That is way too fucking slow. He also has an existing weapons charge from February 2020. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement records show Roberts in their custody at a county jail in western Iowa, but as of 1:45 p.m., a Pottawatomie County jail employee said he's not currently in their jail. What did they do with him? DMPS says it will hold a news conference with Norris Smith and school board member Maria Alonso at 3 p.m. KCCI will live stream the news conference on air and online. A biography page for Roberts on the DMPS website said he was born to immigrant parents from Guyana and spent most of his childhood in Brooklyn, New York. Roberts received his undergraduate education from Coppin State University and has a master's degree from St. John's University and Georgetown University and a doctorate from Trident University. You know, being here illegally, can you just imagine how little he had to pay for all of these degrees? How much he was receiving from taxpayers? That's absurd. Roberts has been superintendent at DMP since July 1st, 2023. Prior to that, he was a superintendent in Pennsylvania at Mill Creek Township School District. He's also worked in school districts in St. Louis, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and South Bronx, New York. Wow, all corrupt shitholes. Who would have imagined? That's crazy. DMPS School Board President Jackie Norris said that Associate Superintendent Matt Smith will immediately step in as interim superintendent until further notice. Our priority is to provide a safe, secure, and outstanding education for all students and to support our students, families, and employees. The appointment of Mr. Smith as interim superintendent ensures that our district continues to operate at the highest level. Well, very clearly that's just a load of bullshit if you hired an illegal to be your superintendent 2 years ago. Neighbors in the area told KCCI it began to get chaotic around 8 a.m. Friday. Next thing you know, I'm hearing "come out with your hands up," and being a single parent, it shook me. This is usually a quiet neighborhood, but over the last 6 months, this is not the first occurrence of something like this that has happened. I hate the way that this is framed, because it's framed as in like, we're a quiet neighborhood and then law enforcement came and mucked things up. And it's like, no, law enforcement came and did their fucking job. The people who are there illegally are the ones who mucked up your quiet neighborhood. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds' office released a statement Friday afternoon saying Governor Reynolds was made aware this morning that Ian Roberts was taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents and is in contact with the Iowa Department of Public Safety and federal authorities. The Iowa State Education Association and Des Moines Education Association released a statement Friday afternoon. We were shocked to hear of Dr. Ian Roberts' detainment by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents early this morning. Since being hired as superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, we have known Dr. Roberts to be a tremendous advocate for students, families, staff, and the community. I don't give a shit. He has to go back. Get him the fuck out. He's already stolen so fucking much from everyone here. Get him out. His leadership and compassion for all students, regardless of background, identity, or family origin, are a beacon of light in one of the state's most diverse school districts, and there it is. There's the towing the party fucking line. Why would you need to say this? Why would you ever need to say that? It is a dark and unsettling time in our country. This incident has created tremendous fear for DMPS students, families, and staff. We call on the community to come together and support each other. No, it's been a dark and unsettling time in our country where we've had illegal immigrants here running amok, running free, getting free housing, getting free healthcare, getting paid to go to school, getting their degrees cheaper than Americans, getting jobs that they should have no business having. Get them out. I don't know how anyone defends this garbage. We stand with Dr. Roberts. Oh, fuck. This is disgusting and heartbreaking, praying for him and his family. I stand with Dr. Roberts. A lot of speculation. I believe the statement said he's being detained by ICE, so they don't know why, and more information will be shared as they learn. And exactly what did you guys do to help him? I hope this is because he stood in the doorway and tried to protect someone from this BS. Chat, I want to point something out. Everyone posting in support of this. Ashley K, Gabby Morales, Samantha Marie, Tammy Sorter, Mika Lynn, Eileen Cosgrove, Angela Evans. These are all fucking women! Maybe it's time we had a serious conversation about repealing the 19th, since women clearly can't understand. When bad people do bad thing, there should be repercussions. I'm so fucking tired, man. I'm so fucking tired, bro. Finally, the Fox lady says it. It's just like, if giving up my right to vote can prevent all of this nonsense, sure, fuck it, man. Holy shit. IQ appears to affect ability to listen in noisy settings. Whoa there, University of Washington School of Medicine. This is some dangerous radical logic here. I don't know how you could print something so horrendously terroristic. This is stochastic terrorism in action. You're in a bustling cafe with a friend. The din is making it hard to tune in to the conversation. The scenario might suggest you'd benefit from a hearing aid. On the other hand, new research suggests that speech perception difficulty might relate to your cognitive ability. In a study of 3 groups, individuals with autism, fetal alcohol syndrome, and a quote-unquote neurotypical control group, researchers found that cognitive ability was significantly associated with how well the participants, all with typical hearing, processed speech in noisy environments. The relationship between cognitive ability and speech perception performance transcended diagnostic categories. That finding was consistent across all 3 groups, said the study's lead investigator, Bonnie Lau. She's a research assistant professor in otolaryngology, head and neck surgery at the University of Washington School of Medicine, and directs lab studies of auditory brain development. I think it's very interesting that they took people with autism, because autism ranges from low functioning to high functioning, so you can have low IQ autists as well as mid IQ and high IQ autists. Fetal alcohol syndrome, which typically falls more on the lower end. And then a neurotypical control group being someone who doesn't have any sort of neurodivergent things with their brain. You hear every conversation at once and it's hard to focus on one at a time. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting like group of people that they decided to put into this, because then they can't be accused of any sort of isms. The findings are published in PLOS ONE. Lau said up front that the study's small scale of fewer than 50 participants warrants validation with larger population. The findings, she said, demonstrate that intellectual ability is among the variables that influence how well people hear in complex acoustic settings, like lively classrooms and social events. To test their hypothesis, the researchers designed a study that included people with autism and fetal alcohol syndrome. People with those conditions, despite having typical hearing, frequently report difficulty listening in noisy environments. Groups of people with those neurodivergent conditions represented a wider range of IQ scores. Some of them higher, Lau emphasized, than would be seen among neurotypical participants alone. The study participants were 12 people with autism, 10 with fetal alcohol syndrome, and 27 age and biological sex-matched people in a control group. They ranged in age from 13 to 47 years old. All participants first underwent an audiology screening to confirm clinically normal hearing. They were then equipped with headphones and a computer program that posed a complex listening challenge. Participants were introduced to a primary speaker's voice and instructed to attend that speaker's voice as two other background voices emerged, all speaking simultaneously. The primary speaker's voice was always male, and the secondary voices were male and female, or both male. Each voice stated a single sentence that began with a call sign followed by a color and a number. For example, "Ready Eagle, go to green 5 now." On the computer program, study participants were tasked to select a colored numbered box that corresponded to the primary speaker's statement, while the volume of the secondary voices gradually increased. Subsequently, participants underwent brief standardized tests of intelligence, including verbal and nonverbal ability and perceptual reasoning. These scores were analyzed against individual scores on the multi-talker listening challenge. We found a highly significant relationship between directly assessed intellectual ability and multi-talker speech perception, the researchers reported. Intellectual ability was significantly correlated with speech perception thresholds in all three groups. A lot of brain processing contributes to successful listening in complex environments, Lau said. You have to segregate the streams of speech. You have to figure out and selectively attend to the person that you're interested in. And part of that is suppressing the competing noise characteristics. Then you have to comprehend from a linguistic standpoint, coding each phoneme? I don't know what that is. Discerning syllables and words. There are semantic and social skills too. We're smiling, we're nodding. All those factors increase the cognitive load of communicating when it is noisy. The study directly addresses a common misconception, Lau added, that any person who has trouble listening is suffering from peripheral hearing loss. You don't have to have a hearing loss to have a hard time listening in a restaurant or other challenging real-world situations. The author suggested that neurodivergent individuals and individuals with lower cognitive ability could benefit from assessment of the environments that may challenge their complex listening thresholds. This could lead to helpful classroom interventions, for instance, such as moving a child to the front row or providing hearing assistive technology. Lau works at the UW Virginia Merrill Blodel Hearing Research Center. Study co-authors were from the UW Autism Center and the Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences, as well as from the departments of bioengineering, epidemiology, pediatrics, radiology, and speech and hearing sciences. All at the University of Washington and the Department of Otolaryngology, head and neck surgery at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. The study seems rather pointless. I don't think any studies into how IQ affects anything we do is pointless. I think these are all incredibly interesting and can, if we're allowed to use the data from them, have very good effects. If you're someone who struggles with auditory comprehension in a learning environment, being able to separate you out from that instead of assuming you have a hearing problem that needs a hearing aid could allow that child to flourish far more than being in that noisy classroom. If you're holding down a job and you work in a noisy environment and you have issues with auditory processing, having you work somewhere that's less noisy will increase your productivity. You've lost faith in academic studies. I mean, again, they said that this is a small study and it needs validation with larger populations. So it's not like it's a, hey, this is concrete fact, but it's still interesting. And it's especially interesting to me that people were allowed to do any kind of study in relation to IQ in current year. Destigmatizing IQ and the things that impact it is incredibly important. Yes, a hard agree. Hard fucking agree. People will want to look at any kind of like IQ related science and say that it's a bad thing to do. But if there are things that are impacted by different IQ levels, like the auditory processing, we want to know that so we can better help the people who have auditory processing issues, instead of just blanketly being like, oh, well, here's a hearing aid, go back to whatever you were doing. People hate IQ and genetics research because it forces us to look at unchangeable things in ourselves. It forces people to realize that some things aren't as fair as you would like them to be. And when you come to terms with the fact that life is just inherently unfair, like, there are things that'll still make you fucking mad when you learn about how unfair it is, but that doesn't change that reality is inherently unfair. Being low IQ doesn't automatically make you less worthwhile. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just like the mental illness thing where people are just like, hey, you're calling it a mental illness and therefore you're looking down on them. And it's like, no, having a mental illness doesn't make you by default lesser than as a person. Like, that's crazy talk. Michigan mom says 11-year-old son was expelled after dismantling classmate's loaded gun at school. A Michigan woman said her 11-year-old son was expelled after he disassembled a loaded gun his classmate brought to school. Savitra McClurkin, what a name, said she had been trying to enroll her son, Sakir Everett, into another school ever since he was abruptly kicked out of Dwight Rich School of the Arts in Lansing in May. I'm upset with everybody, McClurkin said in a phone interview Monday. I'm not just mad at the district, I'm mad at some of these teachers, administrators, as well as the city, because they did not handle this right. In a statement, the Lansing School District said it issued its decision after a thorough investigation, including review of video evidence, numerous witness statements, and careful deliberation, as well as a disciplinary hearing. Unfortunately, the full account of the incident has not been reported, and statements appear to have been offered selectively to create a false narrative. And see, this is where I come in and I say I am sick of people withholding information because they don't want to be seen as someone like causing drama or causing an issue. If someone is coming out and outright lying and trying to grift off of the situation through their lies, it should be not just your professional, but also your moral responsibility to be like, this person is lying. Here are the witness statements with names redacted. Here's the video evidence. Here's the disciplinary hearing. So it's really fucking goofy to me that the school district is like, yeah, we have all this evidence and this is the evidence that led us to the decision that we made. And the mother just looks like she's blatantly lying. The incident happened after an unidentified student allegedly brought a loaded gun to the middle school. McClurkin said the student pulled out the gun in a bathroom and gave my son a firearm. Like, here, take this, hold on to this, she said. Some mysterious student that's never been mentioned just happened to hand your son a firearm in the bathroom where there's conveniently no cameras. Sakir, who knows how to hunt and learned about gun safety from his godfather, knew the weapon was not allowed in school. Sakir's natural reaction was, there's no way I'm going to hold on to this gun all day, his mother said. He proceeded to go to class, dismantled it in class. There was a teacher in class and everything. People were around and everything. So man's just sat in a classroom and dismantled a gun, and people around him were just watching this happen. Maybe that's where the witness statements came from. After her son took the gun apart, McClurkin said he put it inside of a heater in the classroom and threw the bullets in a garbage can. He didn't want it on his person, but he didn't want nobody to mess with it, she said about why her son dismantled the firearm. Asked why Sakir did not immediately tell an adult about the gun, McClurkin said it was because he was scared and was never taught what to do in that situation. So you expect me to believe that this kid was taught how to hunt, how to handle firearms, how to clean and dismantle firearms, and how to, like, safely discharge the bullets from a firearm, but he was not taught what to do when he was given a firearm that doesn't belong to him? You are stretching my ability to believe here. Other students eventually told an administrator about the firearm, she said. The district said in its statement that the full account of the incident has not been reported, but that it could not comment further because of privacy laws. And I hate this. I hate that, like, some sort of privacy law, I guess because it's a minor, might be preventing them from releasing some of the information, and so people can just lie about it. Like, would you be able to, like, FOIA the information, or would that not even work because it's a minor? Disciplinary would not have been warranted for disarming another student, the district said. Please know, however, that the safety of our students and staff remains our paramount interest, and decisions will continue to be made in accordance with that principle. This is probably like the most professional way of saying, yeah, this dumb bitch lying. I just want them to be able to release, dude. It's the same shit with police body cams, where everyone was like, we need the body cams to prevent police brutality, and then we get body cams and we find out, oh, actually it's not always police brutality, it's almost always the police getting attacked and defending themselves. How do you get someone to hand you a free gun? I don't know, I guess start talking about how you're trans and you hate Trump, maybe? So, some Fed will show up at your door and be like, hey guy, do you want a World War I rifle? That's not my gun, I don't know you. According to the district, police took the student who brought the firearm into custody. Lansing police did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. McClurkin appeared at a Lansing school board meeting Thursday to try to get answers, NBC affiliate WILX reported. He's 11 years old, 7th grade, never been in trouble before, she told the board. I'm sorry, chat. I read he's 11 years old, 7th grade, never been in trouble before, and I hear he's a good boy. He going to church. He getting his life together. How is it the same every fucking time? Another honor student. McClurkin told NBC News she is still fighting to resolve the situation. She also accused the district of failing to give her an alternative option for her son. Since May, he has been denied admission. Oh yeah, it's exactly like I suspected. Since May, he has been denied admission to 4 schools because of the expulsion on his record, she said. In the meantime, she's keeping him busy with sports and an unaccredited online schooling program. They really just did, not just my son, they did me wrong too. All I'm trying to do is just be a good parent and make sure that my son is getting an education. I really want more information on this to come out. I do not believe this woman. I do not believe the words that are coming out of her mouth. I believe she is lying. And if she's not lying and the school district is trying to make her look like one, I hope when evidence is released that there is a lawsuit in that case. Otherwise, since I do believe she's lying, I hope that the evidence gets released anyways and we can all have a happy clappy and the dinosaur walks on the floor, bro. This is Jarret Maki, a leftist Hasan Piker fan who was arrested in East Alton, Illinois on 11 counts of making terrorist threats, shortly after appearing on Hasan's stream. The meeting with Maki came immediately after Hasan's speech at the People's Conference for Palestine in Detroit, an event endorsed by the PFLP, a U.S. designated terror group that featured an active member as a speaker. Nearly 40 terrorists spoke at the event, many flagged with lookout status on their visa applications, including several who had spent years in Israeli prisons for conspiring to kill Americans and Jews. From his meeting with Jarret Maki to his speech at the terror-infested People's Conference for Palestine, by the way, Hasan was literally wearing the same clothes, a symbolic reminder of how tightly he is bound to radical Muslims and leftist terrorists. A Michigan man been charged with making terrorist threats in Illinois.
Is this the guy?
Is it? I don't know.
Looks like it. He's got credentials.
Hi, are
What's
you the
good?
guy?
Mackie, good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet
What's
you.
going on?
Good to meet you, man. There you go, Marsh. Good to meet you.
Marsh,
Here you guys go.
Kids,
Okay.
Let's
Do
go.
you happen to have a like a tote bag or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love.
Why does this guy look like he was a character that would have been played back in the golden days before iDubbbz became a cuck in like some sort of Filthy Frank video? Do you know what I'm saying? It just looks like a character that would have been put on. Like, it just doesn't look like a real person. He looks like a child predator. Yeah, he looks like someone you'd see on the news in the 1970s for kidnapping children.
Love to.
Oh, you don't want to carry all that around the whole time?
Well, because our bag is just
Let's go.
filled to the brim right now.
Welcome to Hamtramck. Welcome to Keyworth. Have you guys found the city so far?
Oh, they're at Hamtramck. We've talked about the Hamtramck before, chat. They're also like a weird little Muslim enclave.
Good time?
Amazing.
Yeah. It was funny. I was dying earlier when you were talking about the Detroit sign, because the whole city got fooled on AI on that.
Yeah.
The concept that everyone saw was AI, and then they put that out, and everyone was like, dude.
Okay, that's the thing is, it's ass.
No.
Is this the guy?
It's ass. That's just another thing here. Detroit City FC, Keysworth Stadium looks great on you. Hasan the Hun, a DCTID. Jarret Maki, I'm actually so proud to have pulled this off. So this is the t-shirt that Maki handed Hasan in that video we just watched.
You must never succumb to nihilism.
And this is Hasan Piker speaking at People's Conference for Palestine, where 40 other terrorists were speaking, and a lot of people, I guess, have that weird visa status. And he's wearing the same t-shirt that he was wearing in the video where Maki gave him that other t-shirt.
You must always maintain revolutionary optimism. You must always continue to organize. You must always continue to agitate, because the quicker we can create enough insurmountable pressure that causes the American state to recalculate its double suicide pact with Israel, the quicker we can save as many Palestinian lives as possible. We do it for those who have been martyred, and we do it for those who still remain.
And this is why I don't want to call it preachy, but I feel like that's essentially what I've become when I say the people who just want to grill no longer can just grill anymore. You must fight for your ability to just grill. We have spent so long in times of abundance and times of people being able to have the privilege of checking out politically that when you say in current year, like, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to look at politics, I don't want to really know what's going on, like, I don't care, that is a very privileged position to take. And eventually, when politics turns its eyes to you, there will be almost no one left to defend you. And when you're up against a group of people that are, by any means necessary, we need to keep on the surmounting pressure, we need to be doing this, we need to not lose the revolutionary attitude. When you're against these people who believe that everything they do is good and everything you do is bad and must be stopped, if you check out, you're going to be steamrolled. You will no longer even have a grill with which to do the grilling on. And it forever bothers me because there's so many people that you'll just never get to pay attention. And it's so hard because having eternal vigilance is exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. Like, I don't want to do that shit, man. I don't want to be digging into bridge shit all the time. I don't want to be talking about Marxists and how they've infiltrated everything and we need to get rid of them. I don't want to think about it sometimes. But, like, I have to. Because if I don't, things will just keep getting worse. If there aren't people who are paying attention and disseminating information and showcasing how badly these people just want you fucking dead, it's just gonna get worse. It's just going to get worse. And I don't want things to get worse. You're just so tired of all this shit. You want to grill, play games, find a missus, yet these clowns make you pay attention? Exactly. Exactly. And it's like you can do all of those things concurrently while paying attention. It's not like you have to completely give them up. But it would be nice to just not have to think about how terrible certain things are. It would be nice to not have to think about, oh, if I go outside, maybe I'll get assaulted today. You know? Like, it's crazy. We need the grill-mounted machine gun to protect the ability to grill. Yeah? Don't you think that the VTuber industry's apolitical stance is falling because of political discourse and partially because of me? No, I think the VTuber industry, if you want to call it that, because I think VTubers are just regular content creators. I don't think there's anything crazy special. If you want to talk about VTuber industry, it would be isolated to Japan. Once it came over to the West, it essentially just became even more so isolated away from idol culture and more just streamers using an avatar, which we've had for years, even before VTubing came to the West. We had people like Sargon, like It's a Gundam, like oh god, there was a guy named Matt who used like a dog avatar. Like even Null you could call a VTuber. People who use like other characters and other images to present themselves. VTubing was born specifically out of idol culture, and there's a lot of things in VTubing that I like being tied to idol culture. I think it offers a little bit of an extra layer of intrigue to it. Yeah, Mundane Matt, thank you. But politics was always in VTubing once it came to the West. It's just that you agreed with the politics. And so me pointing out the politics in VTubing, pointing out the politics infesting video games, isn't contributing to the loss. It's me saying, hey, I don't want these things ruining my hobby, my thing that I enjoy, like they've ruined comics for other people, like they've ruined video games for me, like they've ruined anime at this point. I don't want these things to be ruined. So me calling it out is not the same as it being infested in the first place. When you realize places like Offkai are incredibly infested with ideologues who play partisan politics. It's not a VTuber convention for everyone. It's a VTuber convention for those they selectively decide to allow in. They allow identity politics. They allow leftist politics. They adhere to leftist guidelines a la COVID when that's not even a medically necessary thing that the state of California requires. That's not me bringing politics in. When people at Offkai talk about how it would be interesting if I got assassinated. That's partisan politics, brother. That's not me doing anything wrong. And the fact that the screenshots I was given for why I was kicked out of Offkai had to do with me making jokes about pronouns or explaining the difference between the Canadian and the American LGBTQ acronym, because they are different. It's wild. Like that's I didn't even do anything scary. I didn't even, I don't know, cheer for the death of a conservative commentator and then call for more death. I didn't do any such thing. And yet that's okay with Offkai. That's okay, but calling yourself the Burger Queen, that's too far. That's too scary. That's dangerous. Detroit man accused of making terroristic threats against multiple Illinois fast food eateries. Now why? What did the fast food do to him? What is this? A Detroit man is accused of making a series of terroristic threats against several businesses in Madison County, Illinois. East Alton, Illinois police said Jarret Maki, 25, was arraigned Monday on 11 charges of making a terroristic threat, a Class X felony in Illinois. I thought they were like Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. What the fuck is a Class X felony? On July 28th, 2025, investigators say Maki called a Taco Bell in East Alton and said to employees, "I see a dude with a big gun walking toward your store." On that same day, Maki is accused of making calls to a McDonald's and a Sonic in East Alton, telling employees that a shooter was coming to their business. What the fuck are you doing, man? Why would you? What did the Taco Baco ever do to you? Why? What? Why would you do this? This is so dumb. Police accuse Maki of placing a call to a Casey's in Wood River and telling employees there's going to be an active shooter at your store in 5 to 10 minutes. Investigators allege Maki placed additional threatening phone calls to a Domino's Pizza in East Alton on July 29th, August 10th, and August 21st. Why? The East Alton Sonic on July 30th and the East Alton McDonald's on July 31st. Authorities from the Buffalo, East Alton, and Wood River police departments began investigating the alleged incidents in July and determined that the calls were made from an East Alton home. Police said the threats caused many of the businesses to close early. Maki was arrested on September 6th at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois. He remains in custody at the Madison County Jail, and Madison County is in southwestern Illinois near St. Louis, Missouri. Maki was charged alongside Austin Blair, 25, of East Alton. Blair is also facing 11 charges of making a terrorist threat, according to police. Blair was arrested on September 3rd at his home on the 200 block of Niagara Street in East Alton. He had also been released from custody pursuant to a formal detention hearing. Why? If you're making terroristic threats, why are you being released from custody? Maki had been the sports information director for Detroit City Football Club, and the club initially suspended Maki on September 10th, but terminated his appointment on September 11th. It was literally his personal 9/11. Maki has a pre-trial hearing on October 3rd. Nigerian priest killed, and kidnappings prompt fear of genocide of Christians. The church in Nigeria, ravaged by kidnappings of clergy, mourns Father Matthew Aya, killed September 19th as he was returning to his parish of St. Charles and Iha Ndaigu in Enugu State. In what looked like an execution-style murder, the attackers, riding on a motorcycle, intercepted the priest's vehicle near the site of a hospital construction site. First shooting at the tires to stop the car, and then killing Father Aya at close range. The local government in Enugu described the killing as cowardly and cold-blooded, and placed a $6,700 reward on information that could lead to the arrest of the perpetrators. We will not spare any resources within our reach, including technology and credible intelligence, to track down the criminals and defeat the remnant agents of evil in the state, said Communications Officer Malaki Agbo in a September 20th statement. The state police said it has arrested 38 suspects in connection with the killing. Now, I'm not very good with math, but I don't think you can fit 38 people on a motorcycle. I mean, maybe they were Nigerian clowns? But, I don't know, that's a huge fucking number. I'm a little interested in how they managed to arrest that many suspects. Meanwhile, after several days in captivity, Father Wilfred Eziamba, who was serving at St. Paul's Parish in Agaliga Efabo in Kogi State, regained his freedom September 16th. The priest was kidnapped on September 12th. We are overjoyed to have our priest back with us, Grace Idoko, a local parishioner, told Africa Independent Television Channel. His abduction left us in fear, but God has answered our prayers, Idoko said. The Diocese of Ida issued a statement expressing gratitude to God for the safe return of the priest. We thank God Almighty for his mercy and the security agencies for their efforts. We also appreciate the prayers and support of the faithful during this trying time. 2 other parishioners who were kidnapped alongside the priest were also released. Father Iziamba is receiving medical attention and counseling to enable him to deal with the trauma. It's not clear if any ransom was paid, but police said 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the kidnapping. The kidnappings and killings reflect the broader issue of Christian persecution in Nigeria. Amika Balazi, I'm horrible at these names, I apologize, director of the Catholic-inspired NGO Inter-Society, raised concerns that cases of kidnappings and killings of Catholic clergy are not properly investigated by Nigerian authorities. And this is kind of why I was bringing this up, is because, again, it's interesting that they were on a motorcycle. Somehow 38 suspects have been arrested in connection with the killing. And, I mean, there's always the strong stance of, yeah, we're going to do everything we can to hold those accountable. But when you learn about how many kidnappings and how many killings have been going on in just this year alone, those words seem to kind of ring very, very hollow. Was Father Aya killed by a mob? If he was truly assassinated by people on a motorbike, why arrest up to 38 people, he asked. Thank you! Thank you, someone else asking my question! I believe a lot of innocent people have been arrested, diverting attention from the real killers, who will go and plan for their next attack. Umagabalsalsi said, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name, man. He suggested that the priest might have been assassinated on religious grounds and suspected Fulani herders to be behind the killing, because jihadist Fulani herdsmen have been running amok in Enugu. The recent kidnapping and killing aren't isolated incidents. They are part of a broader system of Christian persecution in Nigeria, according to Umeyag Balalsi. Statistics from Nigeria's Bishops' Conference indicate that 145 priests have been kidnapped in Nigeria over the past 10 years. Some have been killed. Umeyag told OSV News, however, that the number may be much higher and that he is aware of 250 Catholic priests who have been kidnapped in Nigeria since 2015. At least 350 clerics from other denominations have also been taken within the same time frame. Kidnappings in Nigeria have become what the Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka of Sokoto told OSV News is a criminal industrial complex that generates millions of dollars in revenue. A study by the Africa-focused SBM intelligence firm lifts the veil on the grim business, stating that their August 2024 report between July 2023 and June 2024, hostage takers demanded up to $32 million ransom for the release of 7,568 people abducted. That's wild. And this is also why we had the "we don't negotiate with terrorists" thing that I think we should have stuck to for a very long time. Because if bad guys realize that ransoms will be paid if they kidnap people, that puts more people in danger of being kidnapped because they realize it's a lucrative way to make money. If they know that you're not going to pay a ransom for these people, they're not going to take the people hostage unless their intent is to just kill them in the first place. Many parishes here in America have sister parishes in Africa. You've heard about this from the pastor. It's a serious problem. Oh yeah, this isn't the first time I've heard about the Christian prosecution issues. I just thought that this was an interesting article because it was recent, and the end of the article here with that number is wild. Even though the sums eventually paid were smaller, it's still a lucrative business, according to experts. Besides the economic incentives, Umea Gbalsi believes the kidnapping of clergy and lay Christians is a part of a genocidal campaign by jihadists intent on wiping out Christianity from Nigeria. And he wouldn't be wrong. He wouldn't be wrong, because that's literally what jihad is. Jihad is to take over everywhere and get rid of the infidels. 32 Christians are killed in Nigeria every day. The latest Inter-Society report revealed that an average of 32 Christians are killed in Nigeria every day. The report published in August indicates that as many as 7,000 Christians were massacred across Nigeria in the first 220 days of 2025. It said at least 185,000 people, including 125,000 Christians and 60,000 moderate Muslims, had been killed in Nigeria since 2009, when the terrorist group Boko Haram began its murderous campaign intended to set up a caliphate across the Sahel. Umea Gbalsi said what's happening in Nigeria is similar to what happened in some regions that were once defined by Christianity and later were emptied of it. If the trend continues, Christianity could be wiped out from Nigeria by 2075, Umea Gbalsi told OSV News. I feel like that is a very far-flung estimation. Like, if they become bold and they aren't facing repercussions and 32 Christians are being killed every day on average right now, that's going to ramp up. That's going to absolutely ramp up, and it's going to be way before 2075. In Houston's predominantly Hispanic 2nd Ward neighborhood, a family's annual Halloween display has caused controversy online and throughout the community after many have flocked to see the spectacle. Decorations included 4 mannequins, 2 wearing red hats depicted hanging from ropes on gallows, topped with a Mexican flag. A 3rd mannequin dressed in a poncho and a straw hat stands over a 4th suit-wearing figure that is tied up on the ground next to multiple coffins. And that just seems really weird to me. Why is the poncho gay, is the first question I have. Second question, why are you wanting to stay in America to lynch Americans wanting to make America better while hoisting a Mexican flag above an avatar of lynching them? Like, just go back to Mexico, man. Like, that doesn't make it. Why want to stay here if you want to kill the Americans, dude? Like, just go back to Mexico if you like it, right? But remember, guys, they want to coexist peacefully. Yeah, peacefully. They can coexist peacefully once your corpse is dead and buried. Is that a declaration of war? The faster people realize that they just hate you, the faster things can start getting better. 50% chance it was a liberal white woman's work. Yeah, originally, I saw it on this tweet from End Wokeness that said, realize where we are, and I was like, okay, well, this could be a case of, hey there, what you doing, guy? Right, you know, like the rabbis that draw really shitty swastikas, or like the black people that put up like a noose in their car garage and try to claim it's a hate crime, right? Or like a Jussie Smollett. I was like, this could have just been like a liberal white woman, right? But then I was like, oh, hold on, let's look at the source. And the source was like, Houston's predominantly Hispanic 2nd Ward neighborhood. And I was like, okay, well, I was going to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was just faked for attention, but apparently, no.